Hi, here is Liplandi, and here we have Robocop, we have the Terminator, but what we don't have is Robocop versus the Terminator. These toys were made by Toy Island in 1995. But first, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. We will show you the most amazing toys from the past. The Terminator and Robocop were both cyborgs, they were violent, extremely cool, and they both came from very successful movies from the 1980s. The Terminator from 1984 and Robocop from 1987. Even though they were two very much different movies to many kids in the late 1980s and early 1990s, it was sort of a dumb dream, the opportunity to see those two characters fighting each other. Until someone tried to capitalize on such dream, turning it into reality, and in 1992 a comic book titled Robocop vs. the Terminator was published, followed by a series of video games starting from 1993. But kids back then also loved action figures, so what did we have for these two characters? In 1988, Kenner made a line of action figures for the animated TV show Robocop and the Ultra Police. And the same toy company, Kenner, in 1991 made a line of action figures based upon the movie Terminator 2: The Judgment Day. But these toys here were not made by Kenner, and they don't look like the ones made by such company. The Chinese company Toy Island has been making toys since the 1980s. Their products are somehow decent in quality but still very affordable in price. Toy Island is actually part of a much bigger company named Lu and Fang, founded in 1906. In the 1990s they had the license to make toys based upon Robocop and related titles, such as the live-action TV show from 1994 or the animated TV show from 1998. At some point they also got the license for Terminator 2: Judgment Day. What they didn't have was a license for Robocop vs. the Terminator. But that didn't stop them from giving us 3 different action figures in the same scale and format that came under 2 different titles but were made to be compatible with each other. This 4 inches tall Robocop action figure came under the title Robocop the Series. But it is just a generic Robocop figure. His face is so simple and generic looking that he might be any actor who ever played that role. He doesn't look as imposing as you would expect from Robocop, but it isn't because of a lack of details. In fact, as you can see, there are many of them. Despite the similarity in his proportions, this figure doesn't share anything with the older Kenner one. He can move his arms forwards and backwards, bend his elbows, we can move his legs forwards, backwards not so much, and we can bend his knees. Instead of having his trademark gun, this Robocop action figure came with a simple black plastic machine gun. This figure is called Endoskeleton, and he was sold on a card with the title Terminator 2: Judgment Day. He is again a 4 inches tall tiny action figure. We can move his arms forwards and backwards, bend his elbows, move the legs forwards and backwards, and bend his knees. So, as you can see, he is made in the same scale and format as our dear Robocop. It's just a very simple action figure entirely painted in silver without any other painted details, but it's not a bootleg. On his back we can still read the 1995 Carolco copyright. And this figure also came with a very simple black plastic weapon. This last 4 inches tall action figure was called T-1000, of course, and he also came on a card under the title Terminator 2: The Judgment Day. His left side is sculpted with all the due details, while the right side resembles this character in the movie when he's still taking shape from melted metal. Of course, they didn't have a permission to sculpt any likeness to real actors, but anyway, on such a small toy no one would have noticed, so we can see his melted metal face. He is again entirely painted in silver, and apart from his right arm, which is shaped as a blade and it doesn't move at the elbow, the other articulations are similar to what we have already seen on the other 2 characters. So we can move his left arm forwards and backwards and bend his elbow. We can move the legs forwards and backwards and bend his knees. I like how they've shaped this foot. And the T-1000 also came with a black plastic shotgun. And that's all. These were very cheap but still licensed action figures. Definitely not beautiful, but totally recognizable. And the idea of having these three characters in your toy chest perfectly compatible with each other was fun. I particularly like the look of this T-1000. Luckily, these toys are still quite affordable, so if you find them interesting, just look for them and you will have fun without spending too much. And now, if you liked this video, please let us know clicking on the like button, write down something in the comments below, we will answer as soon as possible, and subscribe to our channel. Ciao!